The Gopher Coaches Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union.
Welcome to the Gopher Coaches Show, and once again, hockey is taken center stage, and why not? The two University of Minnesota hockey programs are rolling right now. We are at Minneapolis-St Arena, and once again joining us this week, Brad Frost, head coach of the women's team, Bob Motzko, head coach of the men's team. And Bob, you know, it's a good time of year right now. You're chomping at the bit because you had the week off, but still, it's an exciting time of year for everybody involved.
Yeah, playoffs have started, but we had to sit out last week. You know, hopefully we get a couple bodies back where we got some time to rest. But we're anxious to play. We know our fate. We've got Michigan State this Saturday in the semifinal. They're playing awful good right now. But right now our hats are off to our women's team. We're off to a great start winning their championship.
Yeah, you grabbed the regular season title in the Big Ten, and you just took home the WCHA playoff championship this past weekend, coming up with a couple of wins, including knocking off #1 Ohio State. And you did a Zoom call yesterday talking about how the feeling was different, and I'd like you to expand upon that. What did you see out of your team in those two games in that tournament?
Yeah, I think, you know, we're a very, very skilled and talented group, but we also know, at least in my experience over the last 23 years, is that talent doesn't win championships. It has to be the heart, the grit, the toughness, the care and concern for one another, playing for that person next to you, and that's what we had up on Friday and Saturday. I look at our game against Ohio State on Saturday. We had 29 blocks, 16 in the third period. And so it was, you know, it was that kind of effort. It takes extraordinary effort and consistency to win championships, and that team did it.
Yeah, it was an outstanding weekend of hockey, and you could see the want in your team.
Absolutely, and that to me was the feeling. You know, it just felt a little different. Our team was going to lay it on the line, and they were going to do whatever it took to win, and they accomplished it.
All right, Bob, you jump back into it. You alluded to it Saturday against Michigan State right here in Minneapolis-St Arena. It's a team you faced 4 times, so you certainly aren't going to be surprised at anything that the Spartans throw on the ice. And you won all 4, a couple of shutouts, and I think you outscored them 25-6. What did you see out of their tournament play so far to get to this point, and what do you expect this weekend?
Well, first, and you know, obviously the coach talk's going to say throw in the trash can anything we did during the regular season, but it's so true with this one. You know, Michigan State, new coach, brand new spanking renovation to their facilities, their first playoff win in 10 years of Big Ten play. And they're right there at 16 in the pairwise. So this team's got everything to play for. Their elevator, as old Doug Woog would say, their elevator's going up. They're playing their best hockey right now, and we got our hands full. And the right teams right now in our conference are going to go at it, because Ohio State takes on Michigan in the other bracket, and the 2 winners will move forward.
Do you look at the opponent? Do you talk to your team about an opponent, or is it more about making sure you're right?
We will for sure talk about Michigan State and what they're doing well right now. But the biggest thing is to draw respect, because this team that feels great about themselves right now. And we have to put out anything we did in the regular season. But, you know, 90%, of course, is going to be, you know, how we play. And we're coming off a bye. Last time we did that, it didn't go well. So we've got to guard against it by having some intense practices. Went down to Rochester this last weekend and hopefully did a few things different to get us prepared.
All right, one key in the playoffs, which I've heard from you guys, is specialty teams, penalty killing, power play. Brad, let's start with your group. Second best power play unit in the entire country, 28% on the year. What makes that unit so consistent for you night in and night out?
Yeah, you know, Natalie Darwitz, our assistant coach, associate head coach, she runs our power plays and does a great job with our group. Our top unit is 5 forwards. Again, extremely skilled, and they move the puck well. They all have a knack for scoring goals, and so we were able to do that again here this weekend and won that special teams battle, scoring a power play goal there on Saturday and preventing Ohio State from scoring on their power plays.
What makes a good power play in your mind? What do you need to see? You know, granted, you have the firepower. You already have the top scoring team, you know, around. in so many different categories, but what makes a good power play unit in your mind?
I think chemistry, consistency, and maybe something people don't think about is simplicity. You know, sometimes you get so many skilled players on the ice, they, you know, see something in the NHL or our men's team doing, and they're like, oh, let's just do that. When really it's a matter of, we've got 5 on the ice, they've got 4. Let's move the puck, create those 2-on-1s, get the puck to the net, and outnumber them at the net. And it's simple, but sometimes we overcomplicate it.
And Bob, you have the nation's highest scoring team. You're 25% on the power play this season. The biggest factor is keeping it going. How do you keep it going when things tighten up and you get to the playoffs and you may only get 1 or 2 chances with that extra man?
Well, I'm going to steal what Brad just said, and it's you got to keep it simple. And Lacombe's been out right now. Mike Kesser's kind of filled in on that top power play. But the fact that we have 2 power play units that can score, we have to have guys that'll just shoot the puck. Sometimes you want to overhandle it. You want to try to make fancy plays. But the old-fashioned, just pounding the puck, getting it to the net, and we got the big guys down around the net, Knies, Nelson, and Nevers does a terrific job. We got to get the puck down inside the guts of the ice. When we're doing that, good things are happening. When we try to be a little cute, a little fancy, things back off a little bit on our power play.
Now, you've told me years before that when a power play sometimes struggle, the best thing to do is off the draw is just get a shot on the net and then work off of that chaos. Is that still a thing for you?
That's still it. You know, get your hands on the puck, win face-offs, don't have to retrieve it down 200 feet, and then start shooting pucks. And when you're doing that and playing off chaos, playing off the retrievals, our skill will take over.
All right, as you mentioned, you had the weekend off, but you took this as an opportunity not just to sit around and let your players play video games. You loaded them up, you took them down to Rochester to help grow the game, to putting the Gophers out there, and then you also honored a former Gopher. This was pretty cool. Tell the story behind that.
Well, one wanted to go down to southern Minnesota again. We did it last year, so
right, you went to Austin,
I just switched towns. But we're home for a month, and to get out for one weekend, and over 1,000 people showed up, and we needed some intensity, and that immediately brought some intensity to the scrimmage. But Roger Benson played here in the 50s. The first, and as I was informed, the first southern Minnesota kid to ever play for the Gophers came over from Winona both nights and greeted the team and did a ceremonial puck drop. It was great to spend a few moments with him and have him talk to the team and give a little rouser for us. But it was a very successful trip for us. It broke up the time that we had off, and hopefully is a springboard for us to move into this week.
And you've really done a lot of that this year. John Mayasich, you guys swung by Eveleth this year, kind of letting these players know that all these murals and pictures are of real people. They're not just made up characters on the wall here.
You can't coach this program or come to this program and not understand and know the history of it, and Gopher fans too, how they're coming out in droves for us right now have just been spectacular. That we're playing for something, that's even bigger than ourselves, and our guys understand that, keep them in the moment, and we're excited for this tournament play that we have, and of course the NCAA tournament.
And Brad, your team, we're going to have Taylor Heise join us in a minute, but there's another player that's really on a run right now for you, Abby Murphy. 8 straight games with a goal. And these are critical games for her to step up like that. But you also mentioned shot blocks. I think she had 11 over the weekend. How has her game elevated so much in your eyes?
Well, it's funny. I talked to her about Amanda Kessel when she played for us. Amanda was one of the most skilled players that we ever had.
Sure.
But she became the best player in the biggest moments, and it was defensively. She was our best penalty killer because of her instincts. She blocked shots when she needed to in those tight games. And I had just pulled Murph aside about a month ago, and I said, this is where we need you to get to, because she was all offense for the majority of the season and incredibly skilled. But what now is making her one of the best players in the country is her ability to, in big moments, be blocking shots and clearing pucks. And her back checks have been outstanding. And so in order for us to be successful, we need our top players, not just scoring goals, but preventing them from going in the net. This time of year, we have to defend, and if we defend well, we got a great chance.
All right, we're going to take a break here, but when we come back, much more on both the men's and women's team. We'll get into UMD and Clarkson and what lies ahead for Brad's team, and also more on Michigan State. And Matthew Knies will join us as well. So we've got plenty to come, but up next, Taylor Heise will join us, and she'll talk about what another great season it's been for her, but still some unfinished business. And Matthew Knies, part of college hockey's most sensational and prolific line. Why it works so well, he'll share that when we continue here on the Gopher Coaches Show.
Watching the Gopher Coaches Show.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. And last week we showed off the Big Ten regular season trophy. Well, Brad Frost and Taylor Heise wanted to bring their own trophy to the program, and here it is, the WCHA Final Face-Off Championship Trophy. Brad Frost, Taylor Heise join us. And so how was this? Pretty good to grab onto that thing and get it back in your mitts?
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't had one in the 5 years I've been here, so this feels pretty good.
That is good. You look at your season, you come back to college hockey as the reigning Patty Kazmaier Award winner. So you're not going to sneak up on anybody, right? Every interview, every team that looks to scout the Gophers starts with you. Yet you've put up another 60-point season. How difficult was that? And what are you most proud of to get to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year to this year, there's a few changes. I think last year I was trying to prove myself more so than continue with kind of the greatness that I've proven so far. I think this year I've been trying to come in with more of a grateful attitude, because obviously not everyone gets 5 years, and I've been really grateful for the fact that I've been able to play with such amazing people. And I credit a lot of that to my coaching staff as well as the players I've been able to play with. You don't put up 2 60-point seasons and be able to do the things I've done without such an amazing support staff behind you. And I have 2 amazing line mates I've been able to play with for the past 2 years, and 24 or 5 other amazing sisters I have that are on my team too. So I think, like I said, it's just a grateful attitude, and being able to know that like hockey's the game that I love to play, and being able to play it every day is not something everyone can say. So.
All right, Brett, obviously she has the drive. You can see that, you can hear it in her voice. But how did you look at her coming into this season and where you wanted to push her to this time around?
Well, yeah, like you had mentioned, last year, it's not that people didn't know who Taylor Heise was, but she jumped off the page last year. It was during an Olympic year. She had been cut from the Olympic team, and so, as she talks about, that was some motivation for her. Now all the Olympians are back, the fifth-year players are back, maybe the most talented the WCHA has ever been. And for her to have a season that she's having is incredible. But she can't do it on her own. Like the days of skating through everybody and scoring goals doesn't happen anymore. And she's got 2 great line mates. And as she mentioned, just it takes a village to help players become the players that they are. And her teammates and line mates are a big part of that.
All right, Taylor, so let's get into those teammates. How has it developed such a bond between you guys? How is it elevated to winning championships and going for a national title? How has that been built?
Yeah, I'll start with my line mates, Abby Breen and Katie Skaya. They're 2 of my best friends. We live in the same house. We've lived in the same house together for 3 years. I would say we have a connection from that, but also they're 2 very driven personalities who understand me. I think they get why I'm so different. I feel like not a lot of people understand why I do what I do, and obviously you try to prove that to people, but I think they're 2 amazing people who can put the puck in the net, but also are my best friends, and I can trust them to hold me accountable when I do things wrong, and also build me up when I do things right. And then going back to my teammates, I have, when you get 4 returning Olympians, like you can't say anything more than that. Like that just puts a period on the end of a statement. I think for us, Grace and Murph and Nellie, Josephine, all 4 of those are huge personalities in our team, but also just bigger players too. I think they do a really good job of looking both on and off the ice and how they can help our team. And then you go back to goaltending, defense, forwards, like we're stacked. And I think someone asked me at the beginning of the year, and they're like, does that scare you, like the offensive threat and power you guys have? And I said no. I think it's a blessing. I wake up every day and I'm really excited to come to the rink because I get to play against the best people every single day. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm able to have the competitive drive I do, but also why we're so successful.
Brad, you have a lot of egos in this room, at least on paper, because of what they've accomplished. How do you get them to realize that we have to work together to get this done? You may have this, you may have that, you may have won this, you may have done that, but if we don't work together, it's not going to pan out. How have you been able to manage that?
Yeah, I think you said it best. Egos on paper, right? It's not egos in reality. And in the whole recruiting process, we talk a lot about, being a part of something bigger than yourself. Every player on our team was a captain on their high school team.
Right.
And so, if you're not willing to put yourself second and to come and be a part of something really special, then we don't want you. And but that's what I think allows our team and our culture to be so good is that they are supportive of one another. They thrive on each other's success. They hold each other accountable when it's right. And so, Taylor, Grace, Murph, these ones that you would say, oh, they're the best players in the country. They are all about the team, and that's what makes our team so successful.
All right, before we wrap up the segment, we got to show you the footage of the celebration. Take us through this. Where are you in this, and how do you rank this one in the celebrations you've been a part of?
Yeah, I actually haven't watched this back, but I remember I was like in the corner and I saw like 3 seconds left in the clock, and I was like, I can't even hold my excitement because I've never been able to throw my gloves like that in a celebration with the Gophers. And I remember I was on the bottom with Abby Breen, and neither of us had helmets on, and I literally couldn't breathe. And me and her were screaming, but I think people thought we were screaming because we were excited, which we were. But like being at the bottom of a pile and like seeing the hugs and everything that happened right after, I mean, like Frosty always says that like get ready to throw your gloves because it's like the best feeling you could ever have, because it means that all the hard work that you do every day is worth it. And obviously seeing everyone's smiles on their faces, whether or not you were dressed or not, whether or not you were playing, you were on the ice when the game was done, everyone was super excited, and that just proves that I think we're ready for championship season.
All right, Taylor, thank you so much. Brad, thank you. Hopefully there's another big celebration like that coming in a couple of weeks for you guys. We really appreciate you coming by.
No problem.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, when we come back, Matthew Knies of the men's team joins us along with Bob Motzko. We dive into that Spartan matchup coming up here at Mariucci this weekend.
Back to the Gopher Coaches Show.
We are here at Mariucci Arena, where so many great championships have occurred, and hopefully another one is on the horizon for the men's team this spring. Joining us now, Matthew Knies of the Gopher men's hockey team. Bob Motzko rejoins us. And first off, just about how things have gone so far this season. It seems like it's been a pretty good year for everybody.
Yeah, honestly, we've had a good group of guys. On and off the ice, I think we've done really well. As a group, I think we've got a lot of camaraderie in our locker room, so it's definitely helped us throughout the year. And yeah, it's been exciting, especially going into playoffs now. We're really excited to play.
All right, how about your season in particular? You had to come back here and you had to mesh with some younger players, but you seem to be a guy that really comes through in the clutch. I think you lead the country in game-winning goals, and I think 3 of them have been in overtime. What clicks inside you when the game is on the line like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just, I want to be in those moments. I want to be, in the last-minute situations where they're up a goal or down a goal. And obviously, it's a big privilege playing with the 2 players I play with now. I think they make my job a lot easier, and they get me those opportunities to get in those situations. So a lot of thanks go to them, and I think that's a big reason as to why, I think we're, kind of driving the play as a line.
Bob, what do you see in him in those crunch time situations?
High compete level, that whole line. But Matthew, from day one, just brings an intense competitor on the ice. He wants big moments. He wants physical play. He's going to play in the paint, as we say. He'll go to dirty areas of the ice, and he'll play a fast game. So the sky's the limit for Matthew, and he's having another terrific season for us.
So you don't get nervous when it's 3-on-3 overtime and situations like that, because it can change so fast, right? One team gets a chance and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's a 2-on-1 the other way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously, there's butterflies for everyone. You want to win the game. You want to be on the winning side, but you got to have confidence when it comes to those times, and just not play into that nervousness and just play your game.
All right, let's talk about the line, since everybody wants to know about how you guys have dominated college hockey. You're the #1 line in hockey as far as points go. Yet you're the old guy as a sophomore. You've got 2 freshmen. How did that come together with you 3?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to be a good example for them. Coming into the second season, I wanted to kind of build into a leadership role, and I think they kind of gave me that opportunity to have that, which, it's been wonderful. I think we know each other well off the ice as well. So I think the talk between us is always positive, and we're not afraid to be competitive with each other in practice. So, I think we're just making each other better every day.
Bob, was this a line that you drew up last summer and said, I want these 3 together?
Well, I was asked that question a few times, and I said, well, I'd be a fool not to try it. and it didn't take long for it. But one, all 3 guys have tremendous skill and ability, but what sets them apart is their compete level. And if there's a lesson for young players, that have talent, it's about, what's in the heart and your competitive level and the toughness you bring. And all 3 of them have that it factor from the compete side. And then you got the talent on top of it. They make some awful special things happen for us.
All right, so it'll be here at Mariucci Arena, Michigan State, a 1-game affair. 30 seconds left. Do you like single elimination?
I mean, yeah, I think it's the better team wins. It's obviously a lot on the line in 1 game, but I think it just brings that and jump in everyone's game. It just makes it feel like playoff hockey. So yeah, I enjoy it.
All right, Matthew, thank you very much for this. Hopefully we'll have you guys back, and we can have more hardware here. Why not? Let's put up another banner. Bob, thank you as well. Good luck, and if you want tickets to any of the games, go to gophers-sports.com.